Hello, in this video we will learn how to solve rational equations. So let's say that we had x squared over x minus 3 is equal to 9 over x minus 3. So we know, just by looking at it, that x minus 3 being the denominator excludes x is equal to 3 from making either function defined. So we know that x cannot be equal to 3, just in case that it's one of the solutions. If not, we just disregard it, but it's better just to know from the very beginning what x cannot be. So now that we have this, we can actually multiply both sides by x minus 3. By multiplying both sides, we make sure that our equation is still the same, is still the same as before. We haven't changed anything, and by already specifying that x does not equal to 3, we actually do not lose any kind of information. So this cancels out with this denominator, and this one cancels out with this denominator, and we get that x squared is equal to 9. Now we just subtract 9 from both sides, and we get that x squared minus 9 is equal to 0. It has been a while since we learned how to factor, but I hope that you remember that this is difference of squares, which means that we have x minus some constant a times x plus some constant a, which is equal to 0, and a is just the square root of 9. So in this case, we just have x minus 3 times x plus 3 is equal to 0. And to find the zeros of this equation, we just find the zeros of the factors. So x minus 3 is equal to 0. We get that x is equal to 3. And we see that actually we have that x cannot be equal to 3. So when giving the solutions to this equation, x is equal to 3 cannot be one of our solutions. So we actually don't care about this factor anymore. And now we just find the factor of the other, the zero of the other factor. So x plus 3 is equal to 0. X minus, we subtract 3 from both sides, so minus 3 minus 3, x is equal to negative 3, and that is our solution. So for x squared over x minus 3 is equal to 9 over x minus 3, our only solution, so is x is equal to 3, to negative 3. But what does this solution mean? So this solution means that if you were to graph x squared over x minus 3, and you were to graph 9 over x minus 3, they would only intersect at negative 3. They will not intersect at 3. So that is something very important to know. Even if by any chance, I'm not saying that this is the case, but if you were to have two functions in the xy plane, so let's say that this was one of our graphs and this was another one, and so maybe there's an intersection right here, but if this is 3, even though this looks like an intersection, there is no intersection. This means that there is only a hole in both cases, and this doesn't count as an intersection. So that is something to keep in mind. Just make sure that you solve the equation, not just look at the intersection in the graph, because that might be a little bit misleading.